Baptist Homes in Providence Point, of course, for inviting me tonight with my wife Jill to tell you a little bit about our experience for my parents, Audrey and Sig Lenchner, at their time at Providence Point. So I'm going to reflect a little bit. Their bio is in your program. And this has been a wonderful experience for me to be able to look back on their time at Providence Point and what it meant to our family. In addition to that, by coincidence, Jill and I are members of Allegheny Country Club, and I am a proud member of the Greens and Golf Committee here at the club. And I hope you enjoyed our beautiful course. How was it today? It's a beautiful place, and the staff does a fantastic job keeping us in shape. My parents' background's in your program, but I'm going to give you a little brief history about them because it's going to help put into context their journey, which eventually led them to Providence Point. They were both born and bred in Pittsburgh. They were residents of Squirrel Hill, and they attended Taylor Alderdice High School. They were both grandchildren of immigrant families from Eastern Europe. My mother's family, grandfather actually, owned Penn Camry downtown, so those people that have been in Pittsburgh a long time, that was in the days when everything happened in central downtown, and they were in the camera business. My dad then went on to serve in the United States Navy. He served in World War II as a lieutenant commander of his own ship, sweeping mines in Indochina. This generation was unlike any other, and I call them the greatest generation of all time. And that's what they did. They served their country, and my dad was a war hero. When he eventually made it to Providence Point, he never spoke about the war or his time there or what he did. But very late in his life, he started to open up about his experience with not only me and his immediate family, but the staff of Providence Point. So it was a wonderful thing for me to see come out of things towards the end. He worked at the United States Steel Homestead Works to put him through college at the University of Pittsburgh, and he eventually started Today's Home. With their foundation, both my mother and father started Today's Home in 1953. We're now celebrating 64 years in business and have grown to 3 operating companies. With my parents' declining health in August of 2013, we began an evaluation of all the regional personal care homes. In October of that year, we were fortunate enough, with God's guidance, to pick Providence Point for my parents. Both my mother and father began their final journey in assisted living at that time. It was now time for me to take care of them, as they took care of me. Without Providence Point, I am not sure I would have ever gotten through this extremely difficult and emotional time. With my office just 5 minutes away, I soon became a visitor at least 2 times per day to hover over my parents' process, and I mean hover. I was now the guardian, and I took my job seriously. After a couple weeks, I am sure that there was a system in place to warn everybody that I had just passed the guard gate and on the grounds. I was positive that they developed a smoke signal system to each station down the line at the facility that I would pass on the way to their rooms. Look out, he's on his way. I was demanding of the process, and in turn, Providence Point was respectful of my concerns. I often said, "Not on my watch," when something was in question, and I always received a respectful and courteous response from the staff of Providence Point. They were simply amazing. Our fondest memory, my family, Jill and I, my immediate family, was the staff. There are so many unsung heroes at Providence Point. From the housekeeping staff to reception, to the people that I can remember by name when I prepare these remarks. Kim Salvio, Karen Gossett, Angela Wright, Jerry Edkins, Dr. Zuckerman, who was the staff physician who guided us through their final months, and the hospice process. I saw Sharon Sikorsky here tonight, who's in charge of Providence Point's medical side, and they were always accessible to us. Unfortunately, my mother Audrey, at 86, passed in December of that year, spending just 2 months in assisted living and then ultimately in personal care when she passed. My father lived in Providence Point for 19 months until the May of 2015, when he passed at 94 in personal care as well. His only complaint, humorously, ever about Providence Point was that he was one of very few men, now surrounded by women 100 to 1. And I would always say, Dad, we've been looking for this opportunity our entire life. But most men, of course, have passed, and the facility was full of women. But he was always joking about that aspect. There was many laughs along the way with the tears and pain. My parents made the best of it, and so did we. We understood with greater meaning the God's work that all Providence Point employees performed. What might be the most difficult career in any industry. Jill and I called them our angels. Always there for us in our time of need, as well as my parents. They provided Providence Point safety for both parent and the child, immediate family. A state-of-the-art facility furnished like the finest hotel you've ever stayed in. Compassion for not only the resident, but the surrounding families. Creating an environment of dignity for those in need the most. And guiding both the resident and family during the most difficult journey possible, the final chapter in one's life. I learned a great deal about life in those 18 months from so many people at Providence Point. We were able to be by my parents' side when each took their last breath on that 3rd floor of personal care. Even at that moment, there was somebody by our side from Providence Point guiding us in our most difficult time. Saying goodbye to our parents at that moment. We just wanted to say thanks to every employee at Providence Point, from the executive director to housekeeping, and on behalf of the entire Lenchner family, for guiding us through that final journey. We will be eternally grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for allowing me to share those thoughts about the staff and Providence Point. They are absolutely amazing people, and I think everybody should give them a round of applause.